Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Cruella, a brand new film that came out this past Friday. Here we are at the very end of May. Happy Memorial Day, and he, this just watched in its entirety. I enjoyed it a whole lot more than I thought I was. I mean, it's not like I was going to hate it at all, but I mean, it has Emma Stone, and I really like Emma Stone, and but I just figured it'd be, I don't know, an exaggerated Devil Wears Prada kind of thing, because it's fashion battle and there's, sewing montages and things like that. But that's actually not a bad thing in this. It stays on, what do you call it, on brand. Um, in this, obviously, this is an origin story for the one of the most twisted villains in Disney animated film history. Of course, this is from. She's a character that came out of the 101 Dalmatians movie from 1961. This one's 2021. Oh my, that's 50. It's 60 years. It's 60 years. And this is it's a 2 hour and 17-minute film. I thought I assume that maybe that might be just a little bit too much movie, but I kind of wanted to live in this London a little bit more. It's it was actually a super fun ride. And the thing is, how do you make a movie that about technically one of the worst villains? This is, I mean, think about it. This is a woman who kind of gets off on collecting dogs to murder for fashion, to skin them to make a coat or gloves or whatever. She, at least that's the premise in the original cartoon. She's a crazy woman with odd hair. She's lanky and just she's laughs maniacally. She's just really kind of crazy. It's she's an unsettling villain. She's doesn't seem very redeemable. Even though yesterday we watched 102 Dalmatians, which is the live action one starring Glenn Close, and she was redeemed for a few minutes, or because people messed with her head illegally, and well, then she reverted to form and was the big outlandish Cruella character. I said Glenn Close, right? Yeah. By the way, you might go, well, is this a reboot? No, this is not a superhero thing. It's not a sci-fi adventure. Uh, and what about the Glenn Close movies? If you say you grew up with those and you really love those, well, guess what? Not that it has a huge effect on whether you like this or not, but Glenn Close is one of the executive producers on this film, which is I found really amusing that she's involved in sort of Cruella the next generation, or technically the first generation, because this is her origin story. So yeah, you get to see Cruella. I'm sorry, Estella is her name. Estella as a child. You see her as a little girl growing up with her mother, and yeah, and she has dreams of being, I don't know, a designer of fashion. And she's tries to be good for her mother, who is long suffering and kind, but at the same time, she's kind of full of herself. She's very much, um, I don't know, not a brat, but she believes she's better than most. She's a genius. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm not going to spoil any major plot points in this whatsoever. I'm going to talk to you about nothing more than you would have gotten from a trailer for the most part, in examining some elements of this. But yeah, there's going to be there's a number of big turns in this movie. Actually, some big surprises. Some that you might have been able to see coming, but not all of them. It's the kind of thing that, yeah, you shouldn't worry about it. So you can keep watching. I will warn you if suddenly I get the urge to go, oh hey, well this thing happened. I'll tell you to stop or skip or whatever. Okay, all right. Anyway, Emma Thompson plays the Baroness. She is the top fashion designer in the world, and she knows it. And she is kind of the template for what Cruella would eventually become the one that we know from the animated films, and also the Glenn Close films. Um, and yeah, so we get Estella uh, arriving in London, uh, growing up in let's say poverty, and making a life for herself with some friends she makes in order to get by. She becomes a master thief along with her friends. Yes, it may seem like a bit of a strange turn, a strange thing. I'm not, again, not ruining too much here, but I have to set the foundation. Um, but yeah, she gets an opportunity to eventually join in, get a job at the Baroness's company, and from there everything just sort of rolls up, and the formation of Cruella, or maybe we should say the realization of Cruella, who may have been there the entire time, is fully comes to fruition. I know this is super vague. I can't really say much, but all I know is that Emma Stone just knocks this out of the park. I mean, she's just, I know, with her big eyes, and just the change in her smile can literally relight a scene. Like, just how she changes her expression. Just, I can't do it, obviously, but I can't doubt she's gorgeous. But the idea is that she's also just a little bit weird, which makes it even better. And she knows it, and she's good at it. She's good at expressing weird. And Cruella is certainly weird, and weird is a good thing to me. So she can change her character. I mean, yes, she's an American actress doing an English accent. In fact, two English accents. It's Estella and Cruella. She puts on a different tone depending on who she is expressing herself to be at that moment. And this is the kind of thing that this film has added actual depth to Cruella rather than just some sort of cackling monstrosity. This has actually added depth and, let's say, purpose. You understand why maybe she has a problem with Dalmatians, sort of. But she has a dog with her. Dogs are constant companions throughout this entire film. Lucky, I think, Buddy or Lucky. Why can't I remember the kid that her dog's name? Dang it! Even though he's obviously CG through way too many scenes, it's harder to corral a dog and make him go a certain direction a certain way at a certain time. So yeah, I understand. And also to get a bit more expressive with him, the Dalmatians are also CG. Those are the only quibbles I really have with the film, that they CG the dogs, their digital effects, through a number of scenes. In order, again, Dalmatians look sweet and everything else, but they make them look a bit vicious, let's just say, at times. There's also a cute little guy named Winky. He's a dog with an eye patch. He's a little tiny thing, and he helps them on their heists as well. The dogs are a constant presence in this movie, but Emma Stone, just looking at her in almost every scene, even when she's kind of mousy Estella, desperate and to try to make it in this business, she knocks it out of the park. The other thing is that if this team that made this film, the costumes and the makeup and everything else, they do not get Academy Awards, if not at least the nominations next year, there's some awful crime has happened, because yeah, it's I don't know fashion. I'm not look at this black shirt I wore for this last 3 months, 6 months. Um, yeah, I'm not a fashion maven, but man, I know when something looks good, and she looks good in just about everything. No, everything, not just about everything. And she has a presence on screen that's just astounding. She has two cohorts here, her best friends, if you want to call them that, who help her out and move the adventure along. They're also sort of her conscience. Uh, sort of. Well, yeah, they're sort of their conscience. They're thieves of the heart of gold. But hey, that's a Disney angle on things. So yeah, by the way, yeah, this is PG-13, so it's going to have a little bit more intense situations than you would find for little kids. This is certainly not the G-rated cartoon. She's very adult in this, but she's not the old cackling crone. She's Cruella Deville. Cruella Deville. She is everything the song is about, but she's more, and that's what this movie is so good at doing, creating a facets of this character that I kind of hope. I kind of don't hope. I don't know. This is the kind of movie that you want to live on its own and be its own thing, but they have opened the door, I think, to creating a sequel, possibly. But it doesn't need a sequel. It's there's no story that needs to be told unless you're going to tell a very new version of 101 Dalmatians. And by the way, you want to stay to the a little bit after the main credit sequence, before the roll up. There is another scene that you'll definitely want to see before. There's nothing at the very, very end that I saw, but there's a mid-credit sequence, and yeah, that's all I can say. So, yeah, there's a chance there could be a sequel. I hope this thing does well. Everybody in it is pretty great. Emma Thompson is she is the Cruella de Vil in a sense that we see in the other ones, but refined. Just not cackling mad, not yeah, not wild, but she is refined and cruel and it's Emma versus Emma, and it's astounding kind of tug of war between them. It's beautiful. I gotta mention a few other guys. Joel Fry is Jasper. Paul Walter Hauser is Horace, as her buddies there. John McCree is Artie. It's a very interesting look to him. And Mark Strong is among others. Katie Howell Baptiste. Kirby Howell Baptiste as Anita. My eyes are going. But anyway, one of the other things that before I finish up here, one of the other great things about this film is the soundtrack. It is very 60s. It is this is set in 1965, I believe, and it's of course it's got the Rolling Stones. It's got the Beatles in a time that I don't think really fits, but there's still a Beatles song not done by the Beatles. There's a cover, so there's a bunch of other songs that you kind of would expect from this era, but there's a couple others that are kind of surprising that you don't normally hear on every other 60s based movie soundtrack. It's a good collection, so if you get a chance to, you'll probably get a kick out of it if you're aware of that era of music and you enjoy it. This is going to hit all those buttons. It's pretty great. So yeah, Cruella on Disney Plus right now and in theaters. One way or the other, check it out. Eventually it will be free. Right now it's available as a premium thing for $30, $29.99 on Disney Plus, or you can go see it in the theaters. So while you can, if it's safe, if you feel like doing that. But yeah, you have options. It's I would have never have thought that a movie about fashion, battling fashion divas and dogs would ever be a thing that I'd be like not completely bored with. But I loved it, and I kind of think you should see it on the big screen too, because it's. Went by a movie theater today, and outside the theater, it was in a mall. There's a family like of 20 people or so, just posing in front of the theater in like Dalmatian spotted shirts and stuff, taking pictures together. It's a very excited, happy family enjoying. After, I guess after seeing Cruella, or about to see Cruella, but they were having a good time. So it was fun to see that. Big Disney fans, big 101 Dalmatian fans. So good on them. It's always good after all this time. Jeez, it's good to see people excited, still wearing masks. Of course, it's California, but still wearing masks and still having a great time as if they weren't wearing masks. And by the way, the last time, other than yesterday's 102 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, we saw the original. I checked the original 101 Dalmatians more than a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, like January 27th, 2020, before all this stuff happened. That's how long it's been since I've seen the original, and this brought back a number of different things for me. So it's great. It's, again, see it, Cruella. All right, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
335.
335. Come on. 335. I actually went right by it. Okay, don't know what this is. It's a movie, and I imagine it it features chimps. I imagine it features monkeys, apes. It's Meet the Chimps. Meet the Chimps is what we're seeing next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.